Here with Greater Beckley coach Justin Arvon. Justin, a big day for you guys' program. Another guy moving on, and John Rose today signing with Concord. Just talk about the decision for him and what he's meant for the program.
Well, first on the decision he made, he had options at Division III level, NAIA, as well as the NCCAA offers and looks coming his way in the future. He wanted to stay closer to home. He's mentioned Concord for a while in terms of being interested. And they came calling and offered him. And it was pretty quick after that he decided that's where he wanted to be. And where he's at is he's committed to. So,
what kind of player is Concord getting in John Rose?
An unselfish player, willing to do whatever to win a basketball game. Whatever role that would be, he'll do it. He's always been that way. I've coached him.
You mentioned he was a rebounder one year, assist guy, and he had to become a scorer. He did that.
Right.
What you mean?
For example, his junior year, he was our best defender. We would put him on the other team's best player in the half court. So he'll do whatever it needs to be done for the team to win. And that's the type of kid Concord's getting, and that's the type of kid that any program would want. It also is helpful that he's extremely skilled and very good on the floor as well. So.
And well, one of the other things doesn't really have to do with any of those is the fact here's a guy who this year could have gone to another school after last season and everything. Could have gone, didn't go, stayed, and I think maybe his best quality would be that he's not gonna be a guy that's gonna bolt the first time things go wrong.
No, and John is not that type of kid, and not that anyone else is either, but John is a committed, loyal, dedicated kid, and that goes throughout his whole life. It's not just basketball related. He's dedicated to his academics, he's dedicated to the Lord, and his whole life reveals those qualities about him. He's a 4.25 student, he's valedictorian of his class, he'll be giving a speech at graduation. He does not have to pay anything to go to college now because of his dedication, loyalty, and commitment to success throughout his whole life, not just on the basketball floor.
Mike, that speech he's going to have to be the toughest thing he's had to do in high school.
What was that?
Might his speech be the toughest thing he's going to have to conquer?
Yeah, well, John, as you're probably aware, is a quiet guy. So his speech at graduation is going to be very interesting to read, and I'm really excited to hear it. So,
when you go with the things he's done, and I asked him if he thought he would end up being like a Smallwood, some of these other guys that have moved on to college, and he said, "Man, I thought maybe it would be possible." Has he exceeded, or has he met, or I know he didn't come in lower. Has he met your expectation, or did he exceed them?
Oh, it exceeded it greatly. I don't expect anything out of kids that come through our program except to enjoy themselves and to be dedicated. And John exceeded both of those. I mean, he did whatever we asked him to do. There was never a question. He changed his role a variety of times, even throughout the season or during games, for whatever was needed for the team to win. I think a lot of people going into this year probably thought that we were going to be a very bad basketball team. We ended up 10-12 and competed in all of our games because John was willing to adjust to how people were guarding him. He averaged 5 assists a game almost. He averaged almost 10 rebounds a game this year to go along with almost 28 points a game. That's a kid who's unselfish and willing to do whatever it takes.
How many state leading scorers does this school have? Because I know, I think probably Helton might have been one.
I would say, yeah,
Brian.
Coach Helton, Brian Helton, back in the day, he scored 2,300 points here, so you'd have to think he would have been one. Jay Moore might have been in that realm, and John.
Well, what does that mean that he was able to morph from a rebounder in a 13, 12-point a game up to 27? Has that always been there, or?
The potential has been there, and you saw it at times last year. He would score 23, 24 points in a game, but also have 6, 7 rebounds, a few assists. But the role was different last year. He wasn't a primary ball handler. This year he was the primary ball handler for us, and he was really good at it. So he adjusted as necessary to what was asked of him.
A lot of people would say, he's coming, it's going to be hard to make that transition, but if you look at the kids that he played with last year, for instance, you think he'll make that smooth transition, be able to play at the next level?
I don't think the change of speed of the game is going to be as big an issue for him as it will be maybe for some other gifted athletes that are going to be playing college ball next year. Just in practice every day here, he would have had to play against, Caden Smallwood, who's at Davison Elkins on their team now, Azell Carmichael's at Oakland City. In AIA, they play West Virginia Tech twice every year. Sean Cajo's down in Texas at a junior college playing. Kendrick Wilson's at Moravian Prep. He's going to go on and play college ball probably at the Division I level. These are guys that he was playing with every day here in practice and competing against. So the speed is not as huge an issue to me. The length and size might be a detriment initially, but he will adjust. He's an extremely smart kid, and he is willing to make adjustments necessary to be successful.
You've always played a pretty strong SSAC schedule. Wasn't the case this year. Do you think for that, and you just mentioned why it's not going to be problems for him. A lot of people might not know that. Do you think perception-wise, it's a good blow for him to strike that, look, we can play too?
Yeah, I think so also. I mean, John's competed against teams throughout his career, 4A down to single A, a couple teams that you would even consider prep teams that we played in tournaments like Life Christian, who's a nationally ranked team. So he's played this competition his whole career. And where people might think is a detriment, I think he's going to be ready for the change of speed, size, and talent at the next level.
So perception-wise, it's not necessarily a blow for the. Do you think it helps out the Christian schools, other Christian schools?
Does our success or
his
players
success
help other Christian schools? I think probably, like for example, in the WVCAT that we play in, which is the Christian Athletic Tournament in West Virginia, there's great players. I mean, across the board, Calvary Baptist just had a kid sign with West Virginia State, for example. There's Christian school talent across the state that would compete in the public school divisions, absolutely. They just choose to not do both, which is their prerogative. We choose to compete against public schools. We want our kids to be involved in the community and have those connections with other kids from other schools and be able to compete against different entities like that, public schools, private, prep, all that kind of thing. I think it's good for the development of kids to experience different things. And it also gets us an opportunity to minister to public school students that come into our gym. And that's valued only in eternity.
That was a big thing, especially last year when you guys were making a tournament run.
Right. Like after our tournament game last year, we were able to pray with James Monroe after the state title game on the floor. So that was stuff like that we would not get to do with our kids if we weren't a part of the SSAC.
Hey, Justin, I appreciate it as always.
All right. Thank you, Dave.